All right. Well, I am Ed Placencia. This is Lane Compton. This is Life in the Dad Lane. We are at 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
This is crazy, Lane, because tonight before recording, my wife said, "So how many weeks are you guys at?" And I was like, "I don't know. I think we're about to hit 10. I can't believe we're at 12 weeks already." Does it feel like 12 to you?
I don't even know how to answer that because
Yes and no.
yes and no. Part of me goes 12 weeks. How many months is that? Oh, okay. And then it's like, wait, it's been that many months? Whoa.
Right.
Okay. I don't know that it feels like it's been 3 months, and yet maybe that's why parents only count in weeks up until this point.
Yeah.
But as far as
it's been 3
as far as that, yeah, it's been 3 months. Oh, okay. Whoa. My God. This is what 3 months of no sleep works on the brain. This is your brain.
Look at you.
Hey, look at me. This is your brain on 3 months of no sleep. Yes and no. It is funny. A friend asked me yesterday as well. I talked to him and I hadn't spoken with him for a minute, and he's got a daughter that's now 2, which is a whole other insanity thing.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, I think you must be about, and I was like, how did you do that? One, you said the months and not the weeks. I thought I was counting weeks, and you nailed it at 3 months. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a thing parents do. And I'm like, yeah. So we're about to move away from the counting weeks. Now it's going to be.
Look at that.
Well, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure somehow we'll still do weeks, but
you know what? On behalf of everybody who can't math, I want to say thank you, because, you ask some people, how old is he? 73 weeks. I'm like, I don't know is that 6 years? What is that?
you can't count that high in weeks. That's not fair to the rest of us parents. Right. And I'm one, so we got to cut that out. Yeah, it feels kind of like a big turning point in that one. I think we're gonna. We do that photo every week and whatnot.
Yeah.
We've kind of said, okay, now we're going to do it monthly. So for us, it feels like a big turning point. And I don't know if that's typical of all parents, as they keep doing weeks, like week 14, 13, 18, 20, whatever, to each their own. But for us, I guess in that regard, it seems kind of like a big momentum shift of like, okay, now we're settling in. Yeah, now it's going to be a monthly check-in of the photo and sharing, which will only mean the dinner rolls of his thighs are only going to get bigger every time. The kid's putting on pounds, folks.
Still.
Oh yeah. He's really. We decided, and I don't know if this is outing us, and some folks who have been parents or are in the midst of it are saying, you only did this once a week. We've been bathing him once a week, and we've decided we can't keep doing that because the rolls are hiding some of the grime, and therefore it's like you kind of get in there and you're like, oh buddy, we're sorry, his armpit is like, all right, we need to be bathing you more than once a week. So another milestone.
Well, and I assume that, especially for an infant and a little baby, that you spend so much of your time cleaning and wiping them down to begin with, that it's probably easier to say we don't have to take a bath every day, because you're always cleaning and wiping, and and so it's not like you haven't been doing that. It's just.
Oh, of course. I think you get to skate by a little bit because you are toweling him. I mean, sponge bathing him.
Yeah.
Especially when he puts his foot in the dirty diaper.
Oh, is that a thing?
That happened. Oh yeah.
Within the last couple of weeks, or more than once?
Yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, he used to be so calm, cool, and collected. Look, I think we're very lucky. He still loves to be changed and put on the changing table. However, he's getting so mobile and like all extremities are just going nuts that when he's on the changing table, it's fair game for everything to go crazy. It's like, I'm getting changed. Yeah. Whoa. And like, yeah, you start getting that diaper off and his hands like, I'm playing with my hands because I figured out I have these things and that they can touch things. And, they're going in the mess sometimes because it's like, how is the mess up? You were sitting down and it should have gravity. Nope. It's like, look at this,
Jackson Pollock, baby.
Yeah, look out. Art. Oh, that's art. He's I mean, I guess that's one of the things, if you were going to say like, what have you noticed, or like, what are the steps, milestones that have happened? And it's finding the hands and the fact that it's almost like this, like, I have them now. Before it was just kind of like, I don't have control over these things. They just kind of... But now it's like, oh yeah, this thing. And he like, sometimes he's sitting and he's kind of like... And you're like, what are you plotting, buddy? What are you... And he's just, playing, but it looks almost devious. He's kind of like, next diaper change, Lane. You're going to get it.
Just got the Mr. Burns. Yeah,
a little bit. But it's really that he's kind of discovering that he has them. And then, like, he's been going to the gym every morning, which is what we call like the lay down playpen that has the oh yes we're starting him early, Ed.
He's on Strava.
yeah I should start a Strava. 10 minutes on the lay down mat pulling the rings, because a couple of them have rings and he'll just be like playing with everything and then he grabs hold and it's just like and I don't know if he's gonna be left-handed, or if it's just the fact that the one big ring that he can grab is on his left hand, that he gets a hold of it. And it's just like, and so the right hand's just kind of, docile. And the left is just like,
he's working it.
So now everything is left-handed.
Are either of you left-handed?
No.
Okay.
And that's one thing we've both said, like, does it skip generations? Is there anyone in our family that is left-handed? We've actually started kind of trying to figure out where that might be coming from, because my wife too thinks, seems like he does everything left-handed. Do you notice that?
Interesting.
I was like, actually, yeah. Anyway, so we'll have to track that. But the hands have been such a thing, and it's turned into also like putting hands into mouth. Which you're like, oh, he wants a pacifier because he's sucking on his hand. And what I've learned in, seeing that, or like, oh, I got to pull his hand out, put his pacifier in, is that you don't want to just rush in with the pacifier, because what's happening is it's, like developmental exploration, because I didn't realize this, but they kind of map the world with their mouth and how they like taste things. So it's kind of like, what's happening there? Oh, that's different than this thing, which is why it's like, oh, sand. I'm gonna put in kids. You're like, no, kid, don't eat sand. But so much of what they do is they kind of map the world with their mouth. Which, my wife has kind of shared with me that was something she knew, of course, working with kids and whatnot. Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. So, like, don't stifle the exploration. Allow them to have that. And also, it's kind of like, I have this thing, and then these two things are mine, but separate. And I thought that was kind of cool.
That's crazy.
Right? And on top of that, the Babies Netflix show, it's got 2 seasons. They talk a little bit about that, and one of the things that in one of the episodes that they talk about is how, that's also an introduction to germs. And,
right.
You think, oh, you got to protect your kid. And, we were certainly protective as far as like not letting so many outside things in. And,
Sure.
people were coming over before he was vaccinated to wear a mask and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But in the show, Babies on Netflix, they were talking about germs and household germs and in your own kind of pod. And that whole kind of like discovering the world or mapping through, I'm going to put it into my mouth, or just my mouth is kind of like everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I've got a few photos where my son is just like putting my wife's chin into his mouth because he's like snuggling up against her. He's just like, what's that?
Right.
The show was talking about how kids with pets and that extra kind of pet dander and then also germs or whatever, that they tend to have less asthma as they grew up than kids who are like so isolated from outside things and pets. And so I thought that was kind of interesting and worth noting. One, because that show, I keep watching it and I think it's really, really interesting to anyone, whether you have a kid or not.
Has that spurred on the pet conversation then for you guys?
Oh yeah, we got 2 cats, a parakeet and a dog now. No.
Oh, I was like, I want to know you had cats.
No. Yeah, it did actually be like, so we can get a dog then? Is that I think I'd like a dog first. Yeah, I mean, we still don't. And it may change, but we don't really have the house big enough or a yard for any of the pets I think we'd like. But, in due time, I'd love to have an animal around just for the kids, companionship and being around a pet. I think it's a really nice thing for... I grew up with them, and I take it you did too.
Yeah, definitely. How's your wife's recovery? Where's she at with that?
She's good.
Good.
It continues to improve, and she is feeling more empowered to do more of like physical lifting and things with the kid, not like exercise, but like, there was, time up until this point where it's like, can you help me pick him up so I can get up and then I'll hold him again and things like that. And even at night during changes, rolling over to the bassinet, I was still getting up to help pick the kid up just to hand it to the kid. Pick our son up. Yeah. But no, I mean, it was a thing where it was important, I think, to give that extra help because, we're healing her and trying to help on the outside and give her the ability to do it for herself. And I mean, hitting the PT a couple times a week and pelvic floor PT. And as I said last week, nobody knows better than how to get to work in that regard. And she's taking care of herself and doing the things. And I'm just trying to help as best I can. And I'd say since we last met, there's been great strides in the sense that she can feel comfortable now at night to be like, no, you don't have to get up just to pick our son up to hand to me in bed. I'm going to try to do that, which has, in some ways been nice because that means I can focus a little bit more on getting back to sleep and then sleeping longer so that in the morning I can get up and take our son, and like we did this morning where I get up and then the first feeding is a bottle so that she can have an extra 3 or so hours to sleep a little bit longer. And then I'm getting a little bit more at night because I was kind of doing that in the morning anyway, but without the whole bottle thing. So it was still like, it was a lot for me, but also for her. But to answer your question, I think great strides are being made. And
good,
she's learning how to help through the pelvic PT of like break down the scar tissue and the scarring around her scar so that can heal better. Which is a kind of a wild thing to even think about, but that's a whole thing because of the multiple layers of stitching and closing that wound up. because it was a C-section, as we know. And yeah, I mean, there's so many things that are so outside my scope of knowledge and whatnot, but to see her working through it, it's, it's awe-inspiring. It takes a lot, and it's not anything I can really help with other than, help provide extra sleep or pick our son up when I can, and so she doesn't have to, and getting up or sitting back down. But she's doing well, so thank you for asking.
Yeah. I know the last time we spoke, you were saying that he was adapting to a bottle pretty quickly. Is that pretty much stayed the same? I didn't know if something like that would kind of like, if they adapt to a bottle quickly, but then maybe they regress and struggle, or is that a thing that has happened with you guys, or has it been pretty consistent?
It's a good question. I don't know that we're quite there, because still the dominant source is the breast and not a bottle. She is trying to do pumping in between a certain feed every day just to make sure that we have a backstock. Most were freezing, but we're always keeping something in the fridge so that I can have that option to help out. But I don't know that I could quite answer that, because I don't think we've tackled that or had to cross that bridge yet, or that river, because still almost every feed is breastfeeding. It's just, she's got a couple of appointments. Yeah, go. I can do the bottle today. No problem.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to mind one bit that it's a bottle.
Right. Good.
And that feels good. I mean, it makes me feel like less of a failure in those, it's like you can imagine, like, oh, I'm alone with him and he won't take it. Oh my God, what do I do? Because mom isn't here. Like, especially when we were talking about the purple phase and like, oh man, this could be a super meltdown. But no, he seems fine with whatever it is. He's never turned away the bottle, although this morning in doing it, there was like the push-pull of it. It was like, well, am I holding it wrong this time? Or are you at a wrong angle? And I obviously don't have the answer, because he can't say, yeah, wrong angle, Dad. Like, I mean, he yells at me, but I don't know always what it means, which is like another thing that's really elevated since we spoke last, is like his vocalization. And some of it, I think, I'm learning, and also my wife sharing with me, is like, it is because of the things we're doing. We're doing a lot more reading, which of course we're not actually reading, but like we have books that, as we said before, some of them are just red and black and white. Some of it's just black and white. Now it's red, black and white, because he can see the reds and greens, black and whites, and the spectrum's opening up a little bit, and certainly the distances, but he likes to sit and just look at an image with you, and then you turn the page, and then it's a whole new thing, and he vocalizes what's happening, and we're really trying to do that as part of like a daily routine of like, he goes to the gym in the morning, and then he reads his book, and then he takes a nap, and then he feeds again, and because the attention span is very much a part of the vocalization, which I'll get to, but also the fact that we are doing so much reading, quote unquote, and a lot of music is still a huge part of the daily routine. And so we are hearing him vocalize, so then we're also kind of mirroring I thought, and I can't remember if I said this last week or not, but like when he's vocalizing his non-words, I truly was kind of like, oh, don't baby talk him. Like, talk to him like I talk to Ed. He's a person. And,
right.
But what they say is it's actually really beneficial to kind of mirror and give back the same, whatever sounds are coming out.
Yeah.
Because in a sense, he's learning to have dialogue, and that vocalizing does elicit a response.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's many other reasons in the science of things that I don't know, but that it is good to kind of have that mirror, and to be present with him and or her, if it's a daughter, so that they know that you are hearing them and that you are responding to what they're doing, and it will encourage them further. And when then words are present, they know that they can do the thing with you.
Right.
And so the vocalization has grown quite a bit, and we're kind of at a place of like, okay, we're not necessarily in the purple phase anymore.
I was just going to ask, yeah.
And yet are we? Because he's definitely having trouble being consoled at a certain hour of the day where it's just like,
really,
nothing works. But he's not screaming his lungs out to where, you know, it's blood curdling for an hour. But he is at the point of like, he's stringing word or sounds together. So it's not just like, which is kind of a typical baby thing of like, wah, wah, wah. And I was like, you know, and it's way louder and more ear piercing than that, I can guarantee you. But it's kind of a thing where it's like, purple phase is often where it's like, what is wrong? Like, no one could pinpoint. And sure, it's really hard that they won't stop, but now we're kind of finding that, okay, it's at a specific point of the day, and it's often, I mean, it kind of ties into a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. We've had lots of visitors, and so we're kind of finding at the end of the day, daylight hour day of like 4 to 5, 5:30, it may just be overstimulation, where he's just like, because throughout the day, well, what we're finding is, and this is also backed by a lot of books and science, like about an hour, hour and a half of I've fed, I'm up, I'm present, and then I've got to sleep again and then feed again, and I can repeat, is kind of a typical cycle, like an hour and a half of like being awake. And so at the end of the day of doing that, then it's like, okay, I can't go the whole time. I'm done.
Right.
And you can kind of start seeing it with our son. He starts kind of like, he's with you and he's doing the thing. And then it's just like,
looks away.
Yeah. And no matter what you do, what sound, what book, whatever, he's just kind of like, I can't. And you're like, oh, interestingly enough too, his body heats up at that time. When he's done, you can really feel you pick him up. Yeah, it's really interesting. And I don't know if that's every kid type of thing, but his body temperature, you're almost like, oh my God, he's a fever, or like, where are we at?
Right.
But he's just kind of like, he's done and he's ready to be. And if anything's going on around him, then he gets very upset. And
interesting.
Oh, the vocalization has changed hand over foot.
Really?
Yeah. It's the screeches. And, you know, like my wife said, it's like, well, we're listening to a lot of music. A lot of it's classical. So you have a lot of violin and piano and like higher pitched notes that really can go places. And he is starting to go places and string those things together. So, you know, it's like, if you're a conductor, you're like, yeah, go, buddy.
Right.
But in your ear, after a full day of, you know, baby care and dealing with it, it's like, oh man, that is way too loud for right now, my friend.
Maybe
I love
some
you,
Barry
but
White next time.
Yeah, let's take it down, baby. Come on, you know, it's like, whoa. And then also it's surprising. You're like, where did that one come from? You're such a screecher. Like, and you know, I'm sure it's fairly typical of all kiddos. But yeah, that is certainly a big change. And then within that, it's like becoming a physical thing too. So like when he's on the changing table, he's almost doing like back bends and like arching. And he won't sit still anymore. And then even when you're holding him, you know, he's like pushing away from you, and he's all extremities are going, especially his legs are like really pushing up. And so it almost feels like, oh, he wants to stand. And so you kind of like
Yeah.
help him stand up, which I learned this week is not a great thing to do too early.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, oh yeah, help him. Like he wants to stand. That's great.
Right.
But the hip bones and those joints aren't quite strong enough yet. They're still developing to hold all of his body weight. And so you don't want to, or leap the crawling phase and things like that, which is another great kind of episode, another great episode of the Baby Show, Netflix doc series. There's a huge thing on crawling and growth that is kind of reshaped how people are looking in the science and field of development. How we used to think, okay, from this doctor's meeting to the next, there's like a gradual growth period. Well, now they're finding like, no, overnight they could do a centimeter and a half, close to 2 centimeters, and then not grow for 2 or 3 days. And you're like, well, what happened there? And same thing within crawling. Once they get to that point, it's like, oh my God, Mark baby crawled. And then they don't crawl for 2 or 3 days. And then they crawl again. And then they don't crawl for 2 or 3 days. It's like, it isn't such a gradual development, which I think is kind of cool when you think of just as an adult. I mean, you exercise and work out. And I feel like for myself, there's stages where, okay, I'm committing every day. And then one day I'll go, wait, I can add more weight, or I can go longer today. And it's just like, yesterday I couldn't. I'm doing the same exercise, and I've been doing the same exercises for 3 or 4 days. But today there was like this leap. Yep. And I think it's really cool. I don't know. I'm kind of stepping outside of what I know is true and speculating, but I think it's kind of neat I know for myself with anything in life, whether it's exercise or learning something new or what, you got to put the time in. And rewards will come, but you have to do it. You can't skip out. You got to put it in, man, every day. And you will be rewarded, but it won't come overnight. Yeah. But in a sense, sometimes it does if you've done the work. And so, you know, I think that's kind of interesting that even at this age that's happening. Yeah. Where you got to be kind of working that muscle, whether it's the sound or the hand to mouth, that exploration, or even just the, I have leg muscles and I can push and I'm ready to stand. It's like, not quite. Like, that's great that you have that, but it's going to take the day in, day out exercise of whatever it is to kind of develop something, and then see that, oh, now he's crawling away. There you go. Yeah. It's like, no, it didn't just happen overnight, and it might not tomorrow as well, because I mean, when I think logically about it, it's like, well, yeah, if I have a big breakthrough, or I'm able to add some weight to an exercise or go longer on a bike ride, the next day I'm actually kind of sore and I'd rather not. Yeah. Like, I stretched those muscles. I pushed to the place where I could go, and now I've got to, and I don't know if that's all to what's happening, but it did strike me as kind of like, oh, I can relate to that. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Are there noises that he is particularly, noises from himself that he's very interested in, or do you find him, does he make the same, like, kind of discover a noise, kind of like, every once in a while, just goofing around the house, I'll talk in a silly voice and be like, oh, that's a new one. I got to remember that one. And I talk like that for the rest of the afternoon. Is he doing that?
Yeah, I think so in a certain degree. I mean, when he's upset, he's certainly learning where he can push it to like fully express the upset. When it's like a screech, it's not the same one, and yet it's like, he's really playing like, how far can I take this? Yeah. And then on a smaller level, he's starting to do like little spit bubbles. And so watching that happen, and then there's like the tongue movement.
Yeah.
Those just listening, just like putting my tongue in and out. He's kind of like doing that. And so I'll see him doing that. And I'm like, oh, stick my tongue out at him and make a sound. And then he's like, what was that? And then he's, and I'm like, tongue, language. We're trying to do Spanish and English in tandem. Nice. So I'm like, lengua, tongue, and like pointing, or like when I'm taking his diaper off, counting to 3 in Spanish and English. And so he's definitely starting to go, oh, you were just, is that what we're doing? So there's a lot of repetition around the mouth. And I think as I had learned, like the mapping of the world kind of starts there, which I think is so cool. Crazy. Isn't that crazy?
It's like when you get a new Roomba, but it can taste the room instead.
I hope he's not putting that amount into his mouth, but I guess in a certain degree he is.
He's just mapping the house is all.
Yeah, don't worry. Someone comes over, he's just like licking all corners of the floor. You're like, what is your kid doing? It's like, he's just mapping it out.
That's right.
It's a new rug. Yeah, let him do his thing. Or like he comes over to your house, he's just like, What if we did that? Like, what are you doing? Just mapping it out. Never been here before, man.
Yeah, I'll send the map of it to your phone in an app, and you'll be able to see the dimensions.
Yeah.
Is he picking stuff up? Is he that dexterous?
Yes and no. You can put something near, and he may latch on. And for like in his gym, he's like his hands are just going crazy because there's like colors and things he knows. So he gets excited, and then he grabs onto something, holds on. But he is definitely testing like what grip is, and so like if you're even just feeding him with the bottle, or my wife, of course, has noticed as she's breastfeeding him, like. He's kind of like grabbing on or like grabbing my finger, grabbing the bottle, holding it, or the pacifier, like putting it to his mouth.
Yeah.
And so not quite, but that development is starting. And he is kind of like, if he has something that isn't going to go away, he like you can see him. He's like watching, and he's like, I like hold tightly, I let go, there's a grip awareness developing, I think.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. The other thing that has been happening a lot for us is like a revolving door of visitors. And so each of them help kind of reflect like, oh, he's like really, and like, oh, yeah, he is really gripping onto something, or he is really vocalizing, or he's, seeing. It's like, he's really looking for you, Dad, is like someone else is holding him. And it's like, oh, I didn't think he could see this far. But clearly I walked away as you're holding him, and he is. But yeah, it's great to have people come. And of course, I have a sibling. My wife has 2. And nothing better than to share that or share with the grandparents. Yeah. But we're getting into now like the cousins and friends, and just for those listening who may be going through it or in the process of about to have a kid, a lot of people want to be around and see your child, and you want to share it with people too.
Yeah.
And it's the greatest thing to see your sibling with your kid, and even my wife's siblings, because I love both of them. Just to see them interacting with your kid and to share that with them, it's great.
How does he do with new people? Is he pretty welcoming? Is he hesitant? How does he react?
Yeah, I really make a concerted effort when they come to be holding him, or to have my wife, and when we kind of say, do you want to hold him, to be the one to pass off and to, put your arm around them, and we talk about them for days before they come.
Yeah.
I don't know that it registers at all, but
right.
I have the belief somehow it does. It gets in there,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I make a huge concerted effort to talk about them before they arrive, and then be like, see, this is, cousin so-and-so or auntie so-and-so or uncle so-and-so. We told you they'd be coming, and they come with so much love that I think that's the only consistent language everyone's operating on at that stage anyway, whether you're the kid or the adult, where it's like, I'm so in love with you, I've never met you, and I love you. And the kid just like, love, that feels good. So it's okay. And so I don't know, I mean, there hasn't been any issue. I will say though, when he gets to that point of like, all right, I'm done, and now I'm a little fussy. Not everyone can console like mom or dad can. Probably mom first, then dad.
Yeah.
But I think that's natural. That's like, okay, you're fine, but I'm not happy anymore with anything. And then mom picks you up. You're like, oh, thanks for saving me, mom. I'm okay now. Or everything's fine. And dad too.
How does he react, if at all? And I don't know what area you live in. Maybe it's not even an issue, but is he scared of like sirens or trucks or planes or any kind of like loud outside noises?
No, outside noises, whether they're outside the house or just outside of his little bubble that he's in, are shocking for the ones that like surprise him and the ones that don't. Like this afternoon, getting home from errands, our day to kind of clean the house was yesterday, but we had a lot going on, so I was doing some final vacuuming today, and it's like, he's napping. It's like, I probably shouldn't vacuum, but it's like, we got to do it. Fine. Yeah. Fine with it. He's just asleep on mom's chest on the couch. She's reading, and he's napping, and I'm vacuuming around them. No problem.
Really?
Yeah. And the trash truck came yesterday, and they come right out in front of their like living room front windows, and like, trash trucks are really loud. It's shocking how loud they are. No problem. You close a countertop drawer or like a cabinet louder than maybe he was hoping you would. It's like
that gets him. That gets him.
I mean, it's really, you can't pinpoint it. It's like you tiptoe around him napping, and then your phone falls out of your pocket, and it's like, oh my god! It's like, I just slammed the front door. I threw my keys down. I'm vacuuming around you, and then that's the thing.
Right.
It's funny. So much of it, I think, has to do with vibration. That's my theory. But it also makes me think, this really shows how crazy I am. You remember the Minority Report?
Yeah.
You remember precogs?
Yes.
So some of us never get out of that like super sensitive milk bath phase, and some do. And I feel like at that stage, like a lot of things, and I mean, I guess a sneeze is kind of big, but he'll sneeze and like surprise himself, or I don't know. There's like weird little sounds, but I think it has to do with the vibration. It like penetrates, and they're just like, oh my god, you know? It's really funny.
Does he seem to have, and I don't know how far away he can see yet, does he seem to have a concept of outside the window or outside at all?
Yes and no. I have been trying to take him to the window in many different rooms more often, because the light coming in will be like, throw him off. But then when it doesn't, I'm like, well, you were so turned off from this before, but you're not now. Let's go see. And because we know that he can see greens, we have a lot of trees around where we live. And so I'm like, oh, there's so much green out there. Let's go see. And I don't know. He'll go and sit with me at the window.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there's enough depth perception to really see far enough.
Screens at all? Like the television screen? Is he...
Yeah. Really? The other day when I was watching the Babies documentary, he kind of like came out of his sleep and was kind of like, oh, TV, the boob tube.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And Mom was like, you gave him screen time? I was like, well, I was just watching.
I was learning.
Yeah, we're learning.
I mean, you've already given us a little appetizer with the foot in the and so
he's not sitting still anymore for a change, which is it's tough.
I can
it's
imagine,
tough,
dude.
Especially if you're starting with a big mess and then he is exploring everything with his hands, as I've shared.
Can you imagine living in the time when people used safety pins on diapers? I can't imagine.
Or you're washing them every time as opposed to just throwing it out. No.
Yeah.
No. I have to say, there was like a part of me was like, God, it's so wasteful. Maybe we should. Nope. that ship sailed.
I feel like I remember when my sister was a baby. I feel like I remember my parents going that route, but that route was not there for very long.
Oh man, I know my wife's parents shared that they tried that with the first kid too, and I mean, we all waste way too many things. I will just put that out there. That is a belief. I hate that most things are not recyclable. I think it should be illegal to create anything that isn't recyclable. That said, you have a kid and God, thank God I could just throw this away. But it doesn't feel good. I will admit.
I know
there's a lot of waste. There's a lot of waste.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a 4 wipey 2 diaper change and there's no escaping it. And I've gotten really good at most of the time, no matter how messy, using 1 wipe.
Wow.
Yeah. You got to learn how to fold it. It's like
that's
toilet
impressive.
Paper. Yeah. Let's not open that can of worms. The one I pulled aside.
Yes.
For this time is for many things. Is one, the change of color is starting to happen. So right when he's born, it's like that black mucusy thing color.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing a little bit yellow and somewhat like chunky peanut butters, as we've discussed. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting like a brown color. So that's changing. So that's something to note. Which is why I chose this one. And it's also important because this came after an 8-hour gap between feedings. Wow. So it's a long, and we've seen that in regression this week. We had like a couple of great long sleeps, and now we're back to every 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours he's up. Wow. And we don't quite know why and how.
Yeah.
But we're taking a look at like what we're doing on our end, and thank God for these apps, and like we've got data points, baby. Data.
Right.
And so we're able to be like, well, actually that whole week we weren't feeding our last feed until this time. Well, that makes sense, And so we're trying to do what we can, but this whole week, well, in the last 3-4 days, he's back to 2.5, 3 hour stretches all the way through the night. So we are not sleeping much this last few days, but this one came after an 8-hour gap. It was a brown, mushy, and wet, dirty diaper that came at 5 a.m. after an 8-hour gap between feeding. Yeah. And a 5.5 hour sleep for mom and dad. Too bad we didn't plan that one appropriately. We could have gotten an 8-hour stretch. But so after an 8-hour gap between feeding and a 5.5 hour sleep for mom and dad, our son wakes up with a full diaper of pee and a small little skid mark of a shart, as we'll call it. And then had a big diarrhea in the new diaper. Because if you're going to do it, you got to keep it clean. You don't want to go in the old dirty one. So,
no.
This one was called Don't Want to Mix. So you do your pees and then you do your poos,
Yeah.
Just as we all do.
Well, sure.
Sure. But yeah, no, I chose that one more because of the talk of like, we had been getting 6, 7, and 8 hour stretches for almost a week. And
wow.
Now we've regressed and we can't quite figure out why. I mean, some of it is probably just growth and he's
right
having to feed more and he's sleeping a lot of different stages. But like this morning, he did a almost 5 hour stretch of not feeding and sleeping most of that once I got up with him so that my wife could go back to sleep because she was up all night and therefore kind of I was as well. But we're kind of perplexed. Is like this when you start sleep training? It seems a little early. Usually they say like 6 months. Some people do it before. I know some who have started this early, but generally that isn't the consensus. But yeah, so I don't know.
Well, Lane, thank you as always for sharing your heart and what's going on in the house and keeping us posted. And I can't wait to hear about another lucky 13 weeks.
Oh goodness. Well, thanks for being the sounding board, and we'll leave it here. But I do want to come back and touch on the music thing because we talked about music the last episode of like things, and so
what do you got?
Things have come. Wow,
is that a teaser?
It's a teaser. We'll come back to music. Okay, I'm making a note of that too, because it was on my docket for this week of like things. But I want to know the things you grew up with. I want to share some of the things that we've been talking about, and we'll pick that back up.
Sounds good.
Okay, good. All right, buddy.
All right.
Week 13.
Look at that.
Yeah,
I like it.